So today we're going to be talking about dealing with a recession in retirement. Coming up next. Hi everybody, my name is Dee Burks and this is Retirement Rescue. I really want to address recession. I'm not a doomsday person. I've talked about recession in the past because we've gone through recessions before. But I really want to talk about it again because it seems much more imminent today than it did a few years ago. So let's talk about it again. And one of the things that I want to talk about is recession is different in retirement than it is before retirement. It's still the same circumstances, but your resources, your money, your ability to earn income, those things have changed. And so we really want to think about and talk about, okay, what does that mean? And I'm going to be talking about a couple of different scenarios. If you're in retirement and you feel pretty secure about your retirement right now, that's one scenario. And then we're also going to talk about people who are on a fixed income, especially if that income concerns them already, that they may not have enough money. So we're going to talk about both scenarios. Now, the first thing to think about is, if you are in retirement, and let's say you retired at 60, 65, something like that, you could easily spend 20 years, maybe more, in retirement. Recessions are very cyclical. We get one, at least on some scale, about every 10 years. That means probably at least twice during your retired years, you are going to experience some sort of recession in some way. Now, our last recession was about 2009. Many of us remember that recession. It hit my generation, Gen X, particularly hard. A lot of us were about 40-ish. We were just kind of starting to get to a good place in our careers. We were starting to earn a little bit more money. We had our kids. We had the home, everything that you have as an adult to pay for. We had all those things. Some of us owned businesses. We had retirement accounts that we had started that were starting to grow. And then all of a sudden that recession hit. And as you all will recall, that recession rolled through the economy for several years. It really bothers me the way people, especially talking heads on YouTube or TV even, frame that recession and talk about, well, this was a technical recession of 15 months, and that is complete BS, y'all. You know exactly what that recession was. It started before the stock market even took a big dive. It was already affecting people. Once the recession happened and money tightened, a year or two later, people were losing their jobs. Once they lost their jobs, they drained their retirement accounts trying to stay afloat because they couldn't find new jobs. They lost their houses. They ended up in bankruptcy. 2011 was one of the biggest years for bankruptcy. And that was a couple of years after the supposed recession actually happened. So the idea that it's a short-term thing is fallacy, and we all know that. If you look at things that are happening right now, technically, we're not in a recession at this point while I'm filming this, but gas prices are up. All sorts of utility and energy prices are up. Food prices are astronomical. And even though the people doing the data are saying inflation is running technically at a yearly 8% rate, you and I know it's way above that for certain things like food. It's way above 8%. And we know that. So now is the time to be proactive. This is not about being worried or having a doomsday mindset or being really negative. The best way to counteract something like a recession is to be proactive. So let's talk about how you can do that. When a recession strikes and the stock market drops, if you have a 401k or a retirement account, an IRA that you're withdrawing from, one of the things you can do is lower or stop those withdrawals. You all know I'm a big proponent of semi-retirement. If you have retired and you're semi-retired, you can continue to work. During a recession, that is a fabulous thing because you're not pulling money out of that retirement account when the stock market is really dropping. because that will cost you investment-wise long term. So the less money you can pull out of that account, the better. If you have already been retired for a year or two and you may think, what can I do? Think about what skills you have and what you can do. I have a friend up in Pueblo that I just talked to this past week to check on him to see how he's doing, because I knew he's on a very tight fixed income. And back in the day, he used to be a master plumber, but he physically can't do that anymore. He can drive heavy equipment and large equipment, so he decided to go out and buy a small tractor with attachments where he can mow large lots, real estate lots, commercial lots. He can move snow. He can do small amounts of dirt work, grading, spreading out gravel, that kind of thing, to supplement his very fixed income. This is what people do when they see the train coming. All of us are of the age we can see the train coming. We've been down this road before. And I love it when people are taking some sort of proactive action because they know things are about to get tough. And when you are on a severely fixed income, it is very important to be able to vary your income. If you can work part-time, if you can go back to work part-time, if you are already working part-time, you can continue to do so, maybe even increase your hours so you don't drain down that retirement money. You want to wait to tap into that money or to take more of that money out when things improve. So when you know a recession is imminent and you know it's coming, as we all do at this point, now is the time to take action and think about ways to supplement your income. Now, you may have already been thinking about maybe selling some of the things around your home, downsizing. Do it now. Do not wait. As a recession grows and it gets bigger and bigger, more and more people will be doing that. The housing market won't be as strong at that point. It'll be tougher to sell. There will be a lot more people selling things around their home. You may not find buyers for your furniture, for the things that you're trying to sell. So do it now. Be proactive. Take those actions now. You may have already been thinking about it, but you just haven't done it yet. Don't wait. And if you are on a fixed income, you need to plan for your money not going as far. You can only cut back so much. What are you going to do then? What's going to be the plan? Sitting around and worrying about it is not a plan, and it doesn't help. So check into, are there programs you can look into that will help with food, that will help pay your utilities, that will help pay rent, that will, anything like that. Look at it now. Don't wait until things get really bad, and there are millions of people trying to get into those programs. Do it now. This is also true if you have an elderly relative. Maybe it's a parent, an aunt, an uncle, a sibling, anyone like that. Help them make some proactive plans. I tell people all the time, especially people my age who are in your 50s, if your parents or your aunt and uncle or whomever, whatever relative you have, can't make ends meet, who are they going to depend on? That's right, you. By helping them, you're helping yourself. So you want to be sure they are fiscally sound. And as their money goes less and less far, that doesn't even sound good, does it? As their money, they can buy so much less with that money, food-wise or whatever. You helping them is a way to help them and help yourself, because you are allowing them to be independent longer. And I know there was the old joke about how older people get to the point it's not really even a joke, it's a sad statement, get to the point where they eat cat food. Have you priced cat food lately? Oh my Lord, it's more expensive than people food. So think about those elderly people that you know with pets. Think about how you're going to get pet food for your pet. I started making my pets food, and I talked about that in a recent video. I started supplementing their well-balanced kibble with food that I home canned, and it just helps it stretch further. They still get the nutrition, there's still all of that they need, but it helps it stretch further because it's getting so expensive. Everyone is feeling that. No matter how secure you think your retirement is, a recession affects everybody and everything. And of course, as the spring season starts, don't forget to grow some things for yourself, some food. Now you may live in an apartment. Maybe you have a balcony, maybe you have a patio, maybe you just have a window that you can put a couple of plants in a pot. That's enough. You can grow a squash plant that way. You can grow a head of lettuce. You can grow greens in flats on your countertop. Those are things that I do too. And it's not that it totally feeds you, but it supplements things that are already very expensive. And for me, it's greens. Where I live, number one, greens are very hard to come by that are any kind of quality. And they're expensive when you can easily grow them yourself. So don't waste that opportunity. You know, instead of planting petunias this year, plant a tomato plant. Plant something that you can really use and will use, and take pride in that because you're doing it for yourself. If you do have a garden, and many of you have gardens, grow a lot this year. Preserve it, can it, dehydrate it, share it. There are going to be a lot of people that don't have the resources or the ability to really be proactive and plan ahead. It's just not possible. Plan to share. Plan to share. I mean, everybody knows those people who grow squash because you end up with zucchini on your front porch, whether you want them or not. This year, everybody's going to want them because food has gotten so expensive. But always plan to share. Plan to help those people that are going to be struggling. And there's going to be a lot of them, especially the elderly people, people on very fixed incomes. It's going to be rough. But the most important aspect of being proactive during a recession is don't wait. Start right now. Check out every program you might need to use. Check out every resource you might need to have. Check out all the things that you can do to earn a little extra money, or sell things on the side, or get rid of some things, or downsize. Don't wait. You may have been waiting thinking everything was fine. Things aren't fine. You know it. I know it. So don't wait. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.